First, let us discuss the Planck's law. According to Wikipedia, Planck's law describes the spectral density of electromagnetic radiation emitted by a black body in thermal equilibrium at a given temperature when there is no net flow of matter or energy between the body and its environment. The radiation intensity and wavelength from a black body at a given temperature is governed by the Planck's law. Based on the formula for Planck's law, the radiation intensity is a function of wavelength and temperature. Looking at this formula, W is the radiant power intensity, gamma is the wavelength, T is the absolute temperature in Kelvin, H is the Planck's constant, 6.625 times 10 to the power of negative 14 joules second, C is the speed of light, which is 3 times 10 to the power of 8 kilometers per second, and K is the Boltzmann constant, which is 1.38 times 10 to the power of negative 23 joules per Kelvin. What happens is that when the pyrometer is directed to a body, it registers the radiation. Then at a specific wavelength, it can measure the temperature using the formula. So we could assume that there are corresponding temperature values in every radiation intensity recorded. Band pyrometers are infrared thermometers that allow temperature measurement over a broader wavelength range. Typical devices operate in a long wave range between 8 and 14 micrometer, which makes them suitable for a large use of industrial applications. We know that Stefan-Boltzmann law is used for broadband pyrometers. It states that the total radiant heat power emitted from a surface is proportional to the fourth power of its absolute temperature. In broadband pyrometers, the photodetectors are collecting radiation intensity over the wide range of wavelength. In other words, they are summing the radial power intensity across the full wavelength range. Equivalently, they are integrating the radial power intensity curve at a particular temperature, resulting in the Stefan-Boltzmann law.
Looking at the equation, we can see the final formula, which is sigma times temperature raised to the power of 4, where sigma is the Stefan-Boltzmann constant, which is 5.6697 times 10 raised to the negative 8 watts per meter squared Kelvin.
We have to take note that T is an absolute temperature in Kelvin. Stefan-Boltzmann law is the most common methods used in pyrometers, although they are likely to have large errors due to the fact that it uses wide range of wavelength, unlike Planck's law that uses only specific wavelengths for specific objects. Thus, the idea that radiation from a body can be used to measure its actual temperature resulted to the discoveries of these laws and helped in the advancement of technology by being able to measure the temperature of a body without even touching it.
The first pyrometer was invented by English potter and chemist Josiah Wedgwood during the mid-17,000s. This is to measure the temperature in his kilns. At first, Wedgwood's pyrometer was done by firing discs of clay doped with iron oxide to the kiln, which compared the color of clay heated at known temperatures, but was then upgraded to measure the shrinkage of the pieces of clay, which depended on the kiln temperature. However, after the death of Wedgwood by 1790s, the clay pyrometer turned out to be unreliable. Through the years, thermocouple, optical, and infrared pyrometers would eventually take over. In 1901, the first disappearing filament optical pyrometer, in which the temperature of a glowing incandescent object is measured by comparing it to the light of a heated filament. In the 1980s, the first commercially available infrared ear thermometers were out, and then finally transitioning to the more modern pyrometers of today. Advantages of pyrometers against thermometers are it can measure object temperature at a distance, a faster response time, good stability, and can measure various objects at certain distances. Their disadvantages are it is generally rugged and expensive, and the accuracy of the device can be affected due to different conditions like smoke, dust, and thermal radiation.